RF Kennedy Jr. just slapped Kamala Harris in the face with some truth. If we were in school, they would literally have been in the courtyard, and RF Kennedy Jr. would have given her the finger, essentially, okay, metaphorically, hypothetically, that's all I'm saying. This is what happened. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but this little clip from Kamala HQ and Kamala Harris's personal accounts, she has been saying that President Trump is essentially a modern day Hitler. Okay, I'm gonna play like the first 30 seconds. It's absolutely crazy, but what RF Kennedy Jr. says in response to this is absolutely iconic. Check this out.
Let's listen. So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally.
Okay. All right. I don't think we should waste our time watching the rest of it, but it will be in the description if you want to. But because there's like a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about. But this was R.F. Kennedy Jr.'s response, which I think is absolutely iconic. And already in the first 30 seconds, you have all the context you really need. This is what RFK Jr. says in response. He says, "This is the kind of inflammatory poison, what a good word, that divides our nation and inspires literal assassins. It's particularly ironic since Biden and Harris have just pushed through DoD Directive 524001, giving the Pentagon power for the first time in history to use lethal force to kill Americans on U.S. soil who protest government policies. If you want to, oh my gosh, this is my favorite part. My favorite part. Look at this. If you want to understand a politician, the words from her mouth have little relevance. Look at her feet." Whoa. When I saw that, when I read this, I got literal chills because words aren't enough here. And right now, I think Kamala Harris is running a campaign of just words. She's trying to sugarcoat her entire past, her entire last 4 years. In fact, speaking of that, Kamala Harris just actually put out this new interview right on NBC with Hallie Jackson. And I actually really appreciated the first question. I'm only going to play a minute of this, but the first question that was asked was, are the last 4 years haunting you? The last 4 years essentially biting you in the butt. And there's a couple things I want to look at here. For one, I don't think she actually answers the question. But two, in about 10 seconds after I start playing this clip, you're going to hear an audible gulp. Like Kamala Harris goes, "Gulp, gulp, gulp," like as if it's like we're in a cartoon or something. And I just thought that was really interesting. And I don't see anyone else talking about this, which I think is crazy because it was like the first thing I noticed. I played this clip like 20 times today, but check this out.
My plans and my policies are really directed at exactly your point, doing what we must do to bring down the cost of living, but also to help people not just get by, but get ahead. And I'm proud to report to you that economists from Nobel laureates to...
Okay, I like you heard that, right? Like that was clear as day. I'm gonna bring it back just a little bit for the people who missed it, okay? But listen.
Head. And I'm proud to report to you that economists from Nobel laureates to Goldman Sachs have reviewed my economic plan versus Donald Trump's, and in comparison have found that my plans will strengthen Americans' economy. His plans will weaken America's economy.
Then why do you think that's not landing with voters? Because in the numbers, it's the opposite. Former President Trump leads you on this issue.
Well, when I'm out, this is why I'm going out to Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan,
yeah.
Excuse me. Just got in late this morning, actually. But going to 3 states yesterday, and I'm going to continue being on the road. I have to earn the vote, and it means...
Kamala Harris saying she has to earn the vote, and even though this isn't resonating with a lot of people, that's why she's going to these states. That's why she's out there campaigning. She's trying to get people, she's trying to get her message across. This is what campaigns do. But I also want to add, her saying that according to these economist, right? Like her strategies are better. I just want to say, like, according to real people, according to real voters, I don't think you could tell anyone that their dollar is going the same distance as it did 4 years ago. Like, people are hurting. People are in unrest in their bank account. So I don't think you're fooling anyone here. I think you have a lot of work to do. Now, I saw this to kind of continue on, this RFK Jr. train, right? I saw this clip from Holden the other day, and he said that Trump pledges to work with RFK Jr. to get rid of artificial foods and support American farmers in New York cities. And I actually love what President Trump says about RF Kennedy Jr. while he's in the Bronx. Check this out.
What is the plan to do about the food healthcare industry and getting the artificial foods banned in our urban communities that have less access to organic whole foods?
So Bobby Kennedy, right? Everybody likes Bobby. And he's so big into the health food and women things, everything. He wants to do things in the environment. And he endorsed me. First time a Kennedy's ever endorsed a Republican. Maybe it's going to be the last, but I doubt it. And he's a great guy. He would be so perfect. He doesn't like artificial foods, and he doesn't like pesticides and all the stuff they put on them. And if you listen to him for 10 minutes, I mean, he says other countries that don't do anything are healthier than us. Okay, we're not that healthy, to put it mildly. So no artificial foods. We don't want artificial. We have plenty of food. The food isn't our problem. And our farmers are great. And our farmers aren't allowed to do their job. You know, our farmers did great 4 years ago. They were doing just about the best they've ever done. They're not doing well at all now. We're not going to have artificial foods. We don't want artificial foods. We want healthy foods. And a lot of things are going to be going. And I'll tell you, I'm going to have Bobby Kennedy involved in it. He's a great guy. And even the way
Come on. I'm going to have Bobby Kennedy involved. He's a great guy. President Trump lifting up the name of RFK Jr. while he's at a stop in a barber shop. We love to see it. This is so great. Are you kidding me? Come on.
when I mentioned his name, all you guys, and you're tough cookies. You know, you wouldn't think, sometimes you'd say, maybe you wouldn't like a guy like Bobby, but he's a person that talks more about food and health than anything else. So I think that's cool. So we'll get it taken care of. You'll be healthier in 4 years from now than you are now. And you look very healthy.
I completely agree. Kennedy has been talking about this for so long. He's been saying that it really wouldn't take that much. It really wouldn't take that much work. We could get this done in 4 years. We could dismantle this corruption in 4 years. We could be a healthier country in 4 years. And I believe it. I'm a strong believer in this. And I love that President Trump is actually elevating that conversation. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section if you like what you saw. Another thing that I saw today that I absolutely loved, I saw that Forbes News. So you guys know we've looked at Polymarket for the past probably a couple of videos, right? Just because we think it's a pretty accurate assessment of the current political climate, right? And I believe that, right? But some people really don't, right? Some people think, okay, well, this is heavily due to, or this is a male-dominated space, right? Crypto users, like men are more likely to bet than vote, and women vote more often. Da 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 da. All that, right? But for whatever reason, Forbes has decided to actually kind of acknowledge what's happening on Polymarket, right? They're actually starting to discuss it in a way that brings a little bit new light, in a way that kind of real clear politics has. So, I mean, look at this. The crypto-based Polymarket gives Trump a 66% chance of prevailing over Harris. The first time his odds have risen over 65% since July 21st, the day Biden dropped his re-election bid. This is crazy. And I'm not surprised, right? Because now the reason this is so significant is people are able to put their money where their mouth is. It's not just posting a tweet. It's not even just sending in a ballot. It's putting hundreds or hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line and deciding where you think this election is going. And every single person who puts in, whether you put in $5 or 100 or 1,000, I think you are making a very conscious choice. You're making an analytical decision. You're making an informed decision. And I don't think people just put $1,000 here and there lightly. So I think every single person is making a very, very a based decision. Okay. So that's why I think Polymarket is maybe the future of polls. Okay. And I reserve the right to change my opinion in the future, but that's what I'm saying right now on Wednesday, October 23rd, in 2024. Now, another thing I wanted to look at is yesterday we talked for a little bit about Theo Vaughn on the podcast, or on with JD Vance on this past weekend, his podcast. And I love the comment section here. I just saw this post from Greg Price, and he said that the propaganda failed miserably. And look at these top comments. This one says, "This guy is supposed to be weird?" Question mark. He's like the most normal, down to earth guy. Another comment says, "I can't believe I was told this guy was weird. Most normal person I've ever heard talk." Completely. Another comment says, "How much of a breath of fresh air is it to have a guy just sit down and have a down to earth normal conversation and not try to sound polished and rehearsed?" Ironic, because I just saw the interview with Kamala Harris right yesterday, and all of these answers, I'm actually glad I had this thought right now. I just want to say, if you guys are considering listening to this interview, I'm always going to say, you know what, the more information you have, the better. But in this interview, unfortunately, I hate to say this, I really do. But if you've already seen interviews with Kamala Harris, this is just more of the same. She's saying the same thing. It's repeated. She gets asked questions that she didn't answer before, and she continues to bypass them. She goes around it. She dances around it. She's not answering the question. This is the same thing. She brings up her infamous one-liners. She goes back to these rehearsed, scripted responses. People see right through it. They don't like it. So I think you see some clear distinction between someone like JD Vance, right, and someone like President Trump, just speaking to normal people as they do these town halls. People want genuine conversations. People want to know what a regular, or what a person's thoughts are if they're going to hold office, not just someone reading off their script or reading off their teleprompter, or Mark Cuban reading off his phone, making sure he's looking at these talking points, as we talked about the other day with Tulsi Gabbard. And I don't know, I think people have a deep longing for genuineness in this political space, because we're so used to being lied to and we hate it. We're sick of it. So I love seeing comments like this. He's like, he is just a normal guy. Another person says, he's just so weird. That's in quotes. Comment continues saying, literally people who have never heard JD talk for more than 5 seconds. This is the testament of only listening to media from mainstream, only listening to CNN, only listening to CNBC, all these things. But whenever you actually just listen for yourself for a couple minutes, you actually watch that podcast clip, you actually watch a little bit of independent media, I don't know, some nerves get exposed. The roof of your reality starts to leak a little bit, and you're like, wait a second, I might be lied to. I might be getting manipulated over here. And I just think I think it's great. I love to see it. Also, another quick headline I saw this from Mario Nafal. He said Kamala won't be on Joe Rogan or All In podcast. And it looked like one of the hosts of All In confirmed, because Amuse said that Kamala Harris will not be doing Rogan. And David Sachs from All In says confirmed. So there's a lot of people who are waiting for it. I unfortunately don't think it's going to happen, but people are getting excited about Trump being on here. It is crazy. In fact, on my video from yesterday, which I'm so happy a lot of people liked, I was feeling a little insecure about it, but I'm really, really happy people liked it. One of the top comments from John says Trump is on Joe Rogan on Friday. He kind of added that to the little to the things that are on the line, and people are getting excited. Paul says that'll be the final nail in the coffin. CLZ Bear says I'm excited, and I just think that's great. People love to see it. Also, Kamala Harris is feeling a little bit of pressure. I think the nail might not be in the coffin right now, but you know what I'm saying? I'm saying people hold the nail and they have a hammer in one end. They have the nail in one end, they have a hammer in another, and they're like ready to close that coffin. And look at these headlines that I'm seeing from mainstream media. This is a screenshot from Fox News, but all of these headlines are from more left-leaning opinions. Look at this, from the Wall Street Journal, the Telegraph, the Hill, Politico. They all say, these are the headlines. I'm just going to read them verbatim. Democrats fear race may be slipping away from Harris. The clock is ticking on Kamala Harris. Early voting could signal serious danger for Harris in Nevada. Longtime reporter says there are ominous signs that Kamala Harris's blue wall is collapsing. My goodness, from the Telegraph, collapsing. WSJ says Harris has 2 weeks to turn it around. That is absolutely crazy and incredibly surprising. Now, there's one more thing that I want to share, and it was something that Elon Musk shared. It was from looks like it's just a video from Bill Ackman talking about why he's throwing his support for Trump. And I don't want to play the whole thing, but I do want to play a little tiny portion of it. Check this out.
Let's talk about team for a moment, because it's not really Trump versus Harris. It's the Trump team versus the Harris team, right? So what have we seen? So Trump's picked J.D. Vance as his vice president.
Also, real quick, how many times have we talked about the teams here? The teams between President Trump, the coalition there, and also maybe equally, not so equally, the coalition team that we have with Kamala Harris and Mark Cuban and Liz Cheney and all these people that a lot of people have a lot of mixed opinions of. But again, even everyone sees this team. Everyone's comparing these teams. Everyone's looking at people like looking like Kennedy and Tulsi and Musk, and they all love it. Look at this.
I'm afraid of mispronouncing him.
No, it's
Kamala has picked Walz. Walz is a self-described knucklehead, right? I can't imagine a world in which this guy is president of the United States. And you have to look at the vice president as a potential president of the United States. So that's, right. If I line them up, you've got a guy who grew up in a very, very challenged environment, addiction, family, rural America, makes his way to Yale, armed forces. Now he's, venture capitalist, right. Senator, extremely articulate, obviously highly intelligent. So you compare and contrast. You have Elon Musk, who's probably one of the most consequential, certainly consequential business leaders 100%. In the world. It's proven he can take on 12 things at the same time and Mark Cuban and change the world. Okay, as right. Who's going to take? He's put himself right. out here in this election, and first, the only one talking about government efficiency, right? And Trump's all in. There we go. By the way, RFK. Okay, right. RFK is a highly intelligent, capable person, and he's focused on a couple of issues that mean a lot to me. Number one, the food industrial complex, what's happened right. to the health of Americans over the last couple of decades. He's going to focus on that. I think that is a critically important issue. I think examining the
boom. Already, you have two pillars that are existing that no one seems to be talking about. One, we have government efficiency, and one, we have the health of the American people. And now these pillars are becoming more prevalent as we discuss this election of 2024. And again, I just love that people are having these conversations in mainstream media. So it was what a great day for Kennedy and Musk and Trump, and we love to see it. Anyways, let me know what you think about all these conversations that we had today. I'm so grateful for every single person who chooses to tune in here. Let me know what you think about all this, and I will see you all next time. Hope you have a beautiful day. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate your time so much, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to support what we're building here, please like and subscribe. It means a lot and it really helps us out. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on there. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.